All right. Like I said, what we're going to do today is we're going to continue on in the book of Isaiah. Last week, we did chapters 1 through 11. And my goal in the book of Isaiah last week was just bring out some jewels, bring out some gems out of the book of Isaiah just to show the power of the book of Isaiah. Um, it got the second most chapters in all the Bible. But first is the book of Psalms, and then you got Isaiah. And Isaiah is the major prophet of the Bible. So Isaiah, and then like I was saying last week, if you had to, you can actually preach the whole gospel just out of the book of Isaiah by itself. The book of Isaiah covers every part of the Bible. And that's what's so amazing about the book of Isaiah. Um, and I'm saying that to say, don't take the book of Isaiah lightly, because that was during the time when the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom split. So you can imagine the 12 tribes supposed to be together, and now yet they split it. And because they split, that was the end of the northern kingdom. So only thing that's left, and those who know the story at the end, when Christ came on the scene, there was only three tribes left, was Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. So um, that was pretty much the end of the 12 tribes being as one. And the next time all the 12 tribes gonna come together is gonna be under Christ. So Isaiah was the major prophet at that time, and what Isaiah did was Isaiah was warning. Isaiah gave judgment about how the nation's gonna be judged. Isaiah spoke about the fallen angels. Isaiah spoke about the redemption, and you can find Christ all in Isaiah. One key thing I point out for you all, if you study the book of Isaiah, when you see it says the Holy One of Israel, that's talking about Christ, Yeshua. So I'm just letting you know, anytime you come across, especially in the book of Isaiah while you're reading, and it says the Holy One of Israel, that's speaking of Christ, Yeshua. So um, if you had to, like I said, you could preach and teach just out of the book of Isaiah because it covers every part of the Bible. Um, so where I would start at, and this right here is pretty. As we go on, it's going straight to the judgment of the nations. That's what Isaiah is. Um, Mainly, I go to chapter 13. Now, chapter 12 also, it's talking about the thanksgiving of the Most High salvation. It's like a little worship. That's speaking of the thanksgiving of the Most High's um, for His salvation, and that's the start where you can go at chapter 12. Um, Matter of fact, brother Ara, go ahead and read chapter 12. It's just six verses. Of course, where it says Jehovah, we're going to use Ahiah, the Most High's correct name. But just if you don't mind, start at Isaiah chapter 12, verse 1 through 6.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 12, verse 1. And in that day thou shalt say, O Lord, I will praise thee. Though thou wast angry with me, thine anger is turned away, and thou comfortest me. Behold, high is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid, for the Lord higher is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. Therefore, with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation. And in that day shall ye say, Praise the Lord. Call upon his name, declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted. Sing unto the Lord, for he hath done excellent things. This is known in all the earth. Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel in the midst of thee.
Which, what I told you earlier, the Holy One of Israel is Christ. So if you want to know, is Christ, Yeshua, who they call Jesus, is in the Old Testament, There he is right there. So I would say right here in this chapter that Isaiah went into a type of David, King David right here. Because in the book of Psalms, all David did was write poems and poetry, worshiping the Most High and stuff. So here go Isaiah doing it. Isaiah, so it just goes to show you too, besides, speaking on the judgment of the nations and different things like that, it's good to have a worship for the Most High. In your private time, worship the Most High, give him praise, and be thankful, um, because all the things we go in Isaiah, I look at it like in chapter 12 right here. Isaiah took the time out just to worship the Most High in the name of Christ, because at the time Christ was the Holy One of Israel. So that goes to show you too, Christ is the Old Testament and the New Testament, and we did a lesson on that to show that the Old Testament and the New Testament, there's nothing different as far as the scriptures itself, the do's and don'ts and the laws and commandments. And then we know that, everything is turned over under Christ, the Savior, Yeshua, that actually came on the earth. The Word was made flesh. Right here, the word is the word is not made flesh at this moment, but at the same time, Isaiah, through the Spirit of the Most High, he's identifying who Christ is right there as the Word. So right here, the Holy One of Israel, which became Christ, Yeshua, he right there is the Word. So he's just identified now as just the Word. Of course, he's the Word of the Most High, meaning that he's part of the Godhead. When it says, "Let us make man in our image," the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, but right there, of course, Christ was the Son in heaven. So he was known as the Word at that time. All right. And of course, he came down and, of course, became flesh. And that's, the Word, what it says in the book of John, St. John, for the Word was with God. The Word was God. In the beginning was the Word. That's who the Word is right there, the Holy One of Israel. And of course, the Word was made flesh, which became Yeshua. Inside the Spirit of Yeshua, that when it says Emmanuel, Emmanuel means the Spirit was inside Christ that came down. It was the first Spirit from the beginning that was created, the begotten Son of the Most High. So right here is just showing in 12, Isaiah just giving praise. Now, when you go to 13 get a little bit more in depth as far as judgment, because Isaiah going to start one by one speaking judgment against the nations. And right here is mainly what Isaiah is going to talk about in chapter 13. He's mainly going to talk about the judgment of America. And of course, America's name is not in the Bible. And the reason why America's not in the Bible, or the name of America is not in the Bible, because America was made from three different of the same people. So the origin of the original people is who America come from. And before we go to 13, I'm going to point out and show you who America is in the Bible. Also, 13 go more in depth about the judgment of America, but also we're going to go to hold that, and we're going to go to Daniel first, because we're going to identify America since we go into this chapter right here in Isaiah. So we're going to use precepts, and we're going to identify America. Just to give you a little small understanding on when the children of Israel fell, the Most High allowed nations to rise up against them and put them in captivity because of the fall. And the first nation that came up against them was the Babylonians. The Babylonians, and some of y'all know the story, Nebuchadnezzar and different things like that. The Medo-Persians, and then the Greek Empire, which is part of the Edomites or Esau under Alexander. And then after that, you had the Roman Empire, who actually came. Actually, it's like Greece, but it actually more powerful. It's the same people, the same. They're called Edomites, and they came in power under Antiochus Epiphanes, and that's in the Apocrypha. That speaks of that. But we're gonna speak on who America is, because America actually is just an extension of Rome. All you got to do is go to Daniel chapter 7. We're gonna read verse 8. Daniel chapter 7, verse 8.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. I considered the horns of the hill. There came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Okay, so this right here, if you read the book of Daniel, when it's speaking of the fourth beast, the extension of that fourth beast is America. It's actually Rome too. America is actually Rome. That's why it's not called, that's why you don't see the word America in the Bible, because it's an extension of Rome, and it is known as the little horn. And when it says that there was three, it was made up of three. That's France, England, and Spain. That's why in America in Canada, they speak French. In America, it's predominantly English. And of course, in South America or in Mexico and stuff, you got Spanish. France, England, and Spain. This is the extension of Rome. This was during a Renaissance period. This when it says her womb was healed, because at the time Rome was wounded. Just to give you a little history on that, because we're going into the chapter 13 in Isaiah. Not America, but Rome was wounded during the time period of 193 AD, when Pescennius Niger and Septimius Severus, which was black or Israelite generals up in the Roman Empire, they started being in leadership, and that was the beginning of what's called the Byzantine Empire, or the Dark Ages. And during that time period, people of color was ruling over Europe. But then they came, one is you go to Constantine in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. They got together to force a unit to go out and conquer the whole earth. And they went to conquer the whole earth, aka they call this what's called the Renaissance period. The Renaissance period is it's the new birth. It means new birth. That's what the Renaissance period. But under the Renaissance period, that's when the little horn was built. That's when the little horn was created. The extension of Rome, and through that little horn, that's when it says her womb was healed. That Rome was wounded during that time period because of its falling. Because, like I said, the generals rose up, people of color rose up in Rome, and then also that was during the time when Christ died and resurrected, and the gospel was actually going out all over Rome at that time. It wounded Rome because a lot of people came under Christ. A lot of people converted into the truth, even Gentiles at that time period. But throughout the time, Constantine had a plan, and at the end, I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but of course, when it speaks on King James was one of the last kings to rule in Europe. And during that time period, the Most High, he was an Israelite. He was black. He was an Israelite. The Holy Spirit came upon him to get the books or the scrolls translated into English. So he got Hebrew and Greek scholars, about 33 of them or 30 of them, and got them to translate the scrolls into English, because he knew that our people would eventually fall and be destroyed. But the Spirit of the Most High led him to do that, because the gospel has to get out to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So that's why we got it today and everything. Of course, we can go into a whole lesson on that, and we may in the future, but I'm just basically dissecting Isaiah 13 before we go into it, to give you more content of it before we go directly into Isaiah 13. Now you know that America is in the Bible as the extension of Rome or the little horn. So we don't have to say America in the Bible. And of course, it comes from that man named Amerigo Vespucci, which was an Italian, if I ain't mistaken. But so now we're gonna go back to Isaiah chapter 13, and I don't know where I'm gonna stop you at, but we're gonna go through this, and it's a lot of precepts. I don't know if we're gonna go through them, but we may because we only do this an hour and a half. I hope we can get out of 13 because it's a lot of precepts with this. But if we don't, it's fine too because all we're doing is dissecting Isaiah, and if we have to do a lot of precepts, that's fine. Just to get an understanding on just one chapter or the rest of the chapters, that's fine too. But let's go to 13, and we'll go to 13, and I'll just tell you when to stop.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13. The birds of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exhort the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms and nations that gather together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of indignation, to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman with travail. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall be removed out of her place, in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase robe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their food there. And wild beasts of the desert shall lie there. And their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. And owls shall dwell there. And sires shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses. And dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come. And her days shall not be prolonged.
Okay, so right here, I want you to take some notes because, like I said, we are dissecting 13, and we got a lot of precepts. And what I mean by a lot of precepts, there's other chapters to actually go into to add to 13, but we're not gonna go there yet. We're gonna try to get to the small stuff first, then we're gonna go back to the big stuff as far as the chapters and stuff like that. So we're gonna go into Jeremiah chapter 50. Not yet though. That whole chapter is actually tied into 13. Also, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1 through 6. All that's tied into 13. Revelation chapter 18 is tied into 13. So what I'm saying is this is something you can read this and then go and read them chapters also. And we probably going to read them, but I'm just giving you that as notes to take. So you can actually put precepts together to understand the prophecy that's against the daughter of Babylon and against Babylon. And we know who the daughter of Babylon is now, which is the little horn. And we know who the little horn is. It's the extension of Rome. Who the extension of Rome is? America. Okay. So we're gonna hold that, and we're gonna go to Isaiah chapter 21, verse 9 through 10. And the thing is, before you read that, now for those that are trying to follow the Most High, this is victory for us. But woe unto those that desire the day of the Most High, those who are intentionally not following the Most High. This is the judgment that's going to rain on them, the nations first. But those who follow these nations, it's going to rain on them also. All right. Go to Isaiah chapter 21, verse 9 through 10.
It's the book of Isaiah, verse 9. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her God have he broken into the ground. Oh, my threshing, in the corn of my floor, that which I have heard, the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you.
Okay, so this is in the Old Testament. It's in the book of Isaiah. Babylon is fallen, Now, of course, we're going to read that again in Revelation 18 just to confirm that's the precept. Babylon will fall and is going to fall. The judgment is going to come down on this place. And when it happens, there ain't going to be no turning back. Let's see. Go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 7.
Just verse 7?
Yeah, just verse 7. I think so, yeah.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of earth shall wail because of him.
Okay, that precept, when he was reading on 13, Isaiah chapter 13 is Isaiah 13 and 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and with fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay, so now we're going to continue to hold Isaiah. In verse 10, in 13 and 10, when it says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, the sun shall be darkened, and in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And of course, in 11 it says, and I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquities, and I will cause the arrogances of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay, so go to chapter 10. Go to Joel chapter 2, verse 10 through 11.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 10. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, and the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong and executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible. Who can abide it?
So Isaiah is no joke when you go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah, when he speak on them judgments, like they are, is like you said, woe to those that desire the day of the Most High. Um, Now we're gonna go to Isaiah chapter 12. Isaiah chapter 13 still. Okay, go to verse 12. Isaiah chapter chapter 13, verse 12.
Verse 12. And I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than a golden wedge of Ophir.
So during this time period, a righteous man will be as like precious gold. The precept for that, go to Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
Okay, so that's speaking of what we talked about last week. You know, when they talk about the independent woman and different things like that, the Most High is going to switch everything back to like it's supposed to be, regardless of the women having everything they need. At this time, they're going to need a man, and this showing you in the Bible they will need a man, a righteous man, though, because the precept when it says, "I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man that is golden wedge of Ophir." But that's speaking of a righteous man of the Most High. So he will be like precious gold at that time period. And then also, a lot of men will be killed during that time period. There will be less men. It's already less men now, especially, but it's still a lot of men. But it ain't as many righteous men. But even during this time, more men are gonna pass or gonna die, or even be in prison and different things like that. So a righteous man will even stand out even more at the end, even more, and it's happening now. You know, so this when I say at the end, I'm not speaking of a long way down the road, but it's actually happening now as we speak and everything, because that's the order of the Most High: man, then woman, and everything's gonna shift and turn back like it's supposed to be, and it's gonna be done through judgment. Why it's gonna happen that way. Okay. You can go to verse 13.
In Isaiah 13?
Yeah, Isaiah 13 and 13.
Okay. Book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of the Spirit's anger.
Okay, let's go to a precept with that. Let's see what Yeshaya is going to mention that. And also he's going to mention that and what we read in verse 10 also. Go to Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. Matthew chapter 24, verse 29.
The book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
So the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. This is a war. Christ coming back to take down the Nephilim, take down the fallen angels, take down the spirits of the Nephilim that came from the Nephilim and everything. So Christ is coming for all out war. Okay. Let's see. And well, this still is even a part of what we just read. When it talks about Christ coming, when it says, "Behold, the day of the Lord," in verse 9, it says in 13 and 9, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel with both wrath and his fierce anger to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay, continue on going to in Matthew chapter 24, verse 30.
Matthew 24, verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then shall appear the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Okay, with power and great glory. And once again, when I was saying earlier, this is for those who are the nations being judged that was against Christ and his people, the children of Israel. Well, what about the righteous children of Israel during this time period of this judgment that we're reading? Okay, read the next verse on Matthew chapter 24, verse 31.
Verse 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and he shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the one end of the heaven to the other.
Okay, that is the children of Israel. That's the 12 tribes. Remember, we were scattered. Remember in Isaiah, what I was saying earlier, this is the breaking up of the northern kingdom. The northern kingdom fell, only left the southern kingdom during crisis time. And for those that don't understand that, I definitely do a lesson on that later on about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. But those who understand know that this is all coming together right here. And if you read the Old Testament and then go to the New Testament, you'll realize that the Most High has been just telling the children of Israel the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Only thing he did was give us the law, statutes, and commandments to follow. And if you really think about it, that's very simple. He gave us just that to follow. And then because we didn't follow that, and some of us wanted to follow the other nations and their gods, these curses came upon us. And then also the warnings came upon us. And then because of these curses, it was the other kingdoms of the nations was allowed to take us down. But at the same time, they did wicked. And by them doing wicked, and a lot of them, especially Esau, went too far, the Most High is going to judge those nations also. First of all, for going against him. And but he's going to redeem Israel. So he sent the prophet Isaiah to warn his people, to warn the nation, the children of Israel. And all they had to do is take heed. And a lot of things wouldn't have took place going further down to Christ came, Yeshua. Okay, so I'm just showing you in 13 a lot of the judgments that are happening and the precepts that go along with it to show you that Isaiah is speaking of the doom of the daughter of Babylon, but at the same time, this is also the beginning of the destruction of the whole world that's fixing to be subdued and brought down by Christ. So let's see here. Because it's so much, it's like I said, this chapter alone is so rich as far as the judgment of the daughter of Babylon. Go to verse 17 in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Okay, for those that do not know, the Medes are the present day Iranians. This is Iran. A lot of people don't know where the Iran stand in the Bible. There's Iran right here. We talking about it right now. When everybody want to know about the war of Iran, the America fighting Iran, you'll see why they ain't touched Iran yet. If you look on the map, it shows that America took down Afghanistan, they took down Iraq, they took down Pakistan, all these areas, And it's just making a whole circle around Iran. You think they don't know about what we're reading right now? These prophecies about the Medo-Persians, the Medes. He said, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver or gold, meaning that they can't make a deal with them to try to get them to cooperate with their program. The U.S. can't go to Iran and say, okay, we want you to be part of our Illuminati or whatever you want to call it. We're gonna make a deal with you. We're gonna do this. Now the Medes say, no, we ain't going for that. We're not gonna follow you. So the Most High say, I will stir up the Medes. That's the Most High doing that. Okay. And before I go get you to read the rest of that again to let everybody see that's what's gonna happen. Let's see. Hold that. Cause we're gonna go back to that. Go to what it is. Oh, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11. Jeremiah 51 and 11. Jeremiah 51:11.
So Jeremiah 51.
Yeah, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11.
Book of Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes, for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple.
So it's showing you that the Most High is going to use the Medes to take out the little horn. And who the little horn is? We said who the little horn was. The extension of Rome, America. So that's why the United States just ain't jumped on the Medes like they jumped on them other places in the Middle East, because they know Bible prophecy. Now they're gonna do it, but I'm just telling you that's why they ain't just jumped on them. Okay, let me see something here. See 51. Let me see Jeremiah 54. Oh. Okay, we're gonna. I might go back to that, but go back to Isaiah chapter 13. Read again, verse 17 through 22. Now we know that the Medos or the Medes is Iran, and they are going to. The Most High is going to use them to judge the daughter of Babylon, aka the extension of Rome, the little horn, America.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. Behold, I will stir the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdom, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited. Neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabians pitch tent there. Neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. The wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
So this right here is the judgment of the little horn, that the Most High is going to stir up the Medes or the Iranians to take this place out and leave it desolate.
If I can add something real quick.
Go ahead.
Did you know it's talking about a future Babylon.
Right.
Because one, it tells you in verse 20, it says, "And it shall never be inhabited."
Right.
Current Babylon, which is Iraq,
right.
is still inhabited. It's still inhabited by Iraqis.
Right.
So, but it's a future Babylon that once it comes down, it will never be inhabited again.
Right. So, of course, like what the brother was saying is, yes, the modern day Iraq is Babylon. But this right here is talking about the daughter of Babylon, because Iraq is still around. Even when the United States attacked Iraq and stuff, it's still here. So this right here is talking about a future Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. So just to add to that now, still hold that, because we're not out of Isaiah. This is just all 13 right here. This is all the stuff that we are reading is out of just Isaiah 13, and this is what's coming out of Isaiah 13 as we reading it. Okay, it's the judgment of America. All right. And who doing it and why? Okay. Now we're gonna go to Jeremiah chapter 50, and just you're gonna have to, go through this. This is part of 13 here. I mean, it's a lot of precepts in this too. I mean, but yeah, just start at one. Jeremiah chapter 51. I mean, hold on. My bad. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Go to Jeremiah chapter 50 and just start at 1. 51 something else too, but yeah, 50.
Okay. All right. The book of Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. And the word that spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard. Publish, and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, Rome is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days, in that time, says the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces pitiful, saying, Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountain. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them. And the adversary said, We offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Remove out the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldees, and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her, and thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain.
Hold on just a minute before you go further, since you going into this right here, speaking in detail of America or the daughter of Babylon getting destroyed. When it says these arrows that's going forth, they're not gonna miss. That's the thing. Ain't gonna be an interception of missiles. They're not gonna miss. They're gonna actually hit, and that's what Jeremiah is actually explaining right here, co-signing with Isaiah about the daughter of Babylon is this future Babylon that when the Medes come up and rise up against them, their arrows won't miss when they shoot. Okay, you can keep going.
Verse 11. No, verse 10. And Chaldea shall be spoiled. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because you were glad, because you rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage. Because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the innermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land and a desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth out Babylon shall be astonished, and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrow, for she have sinned against the Lord.
Hold on right
Shout
there.
against her round about.
Okay, hold on right there. Go to 25 and through 30. So notice he said in 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. So that's speaking of what's going to happen right here in the Bible. It's telling you what's going to happen to this place. All right, go to 25 through 30.
Verse 25. The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord God of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouse, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, and the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp against her round about. That none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, and against the Holy One of Israel.
Which is Christ.
Therefore shall her young man fall.
Go ahead. I'll just
Therefore shall
point
her
out.
young man fall, and all her men of war shall be cut off that day, saith the Lord.
Okay, go to 13. Yeah, just read 13 first. Excuse me, 33.
Verse 13.
33, sorry, 33.
Verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Okay, go to verse 40 and skip down to 42.
Verse 40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell there. Verse 42. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roll like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon.
O daughter of Babylon. So that's America, the daughter of Babylon. So that's showing you when Brother Ara said that this was talking about a future Babylon, and then right here it says the daughter of Babylon. That's what we was talking about, the little horn, the extension of Rome. And when it says in verse 40, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbors cities thereof, said the Lord, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell there. And then that's also go back to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19, when it says, and Babylon, the glory of the kingdom and the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. So Isaiah is, and see, y'all have to realize why the Most High coming so hard right here in Isaiah. Really, the first prophet, Isaiah coming as far as this major prophet, because this is during the time Israel is fixing to fall. They fixing to fall, or they falling, and the northern kingdom is not there no more. Meaning the 12 tribes are split up, Judah and Israel. So Isaiah prophesied. So you could imagine the spirit Isaiah was in during this time period when he know that our people are not together no more, and the next time they come together, it'll be under the Holy One of Israel, which is the Word, which became flesh, which is Yeshaya, and now it's the King and Priest Melchizedek, which is Christ Yeshaya, which means King and Priest. He's the King and Priest, the High Priest that sits on the left hand side, on the right hand side of the Father. Okay, so that's just 13 right there. We just read for the book of Isaiah. So now we got 30 minutes. I'm gonna try to bring this as small as possible as far as bringing it out to where we can cram all this right here and it don't be too much and we don't go over. But now we're gonna go to chapter 14, and we're gonna start at verse. And we're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. First, we're gonna go to verse 1 and verse 2.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be dwelling with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Okay, so what this is talking about, for those that don't know, that's speaking of the children of Israel coming together. And when it says the strangers shall cleave and join with them, that's speaking of the Gentiles, the righteous Gentiles, those who decided to follow Christ and knowing their place in the kingdom, they're following Israel. And what they will become, it says they will become a possession, they will become servants, but it'd be a righteous servitude. You know, just like right now, if you think about when we talk about the word servant, we think about mainly slavery. But servitude and being a servant also is the jobs we work at. We are servants under our bosses, the ones who own the jobs. We're their servants. You know, so that's the servitude that we're under right now. All of us that got jobs. Okay, so what this speaking of right here is going to reverse. This is going to be a righteous servitude that the Gentiles will be serving us. They'll be serving the children of Israel. And this is talking about the righteous Gentiles. Now, the wicked Gentiles, we just read what's going to happen to them. But this speaking of the righteous Gentiles. Okay, so I want to point this out. Isaiah's covering that. He's covering what's going to happen when Israel do take everything back. You know, you'll have the righteous Gentiles cleaving to us, and they will serve us in the kingdom to come. Okay, so now go to so one thing about it, the ultimate fallen angel, Isaiah also mentions. Like I said, Isaiah cover everything. That's what's so amazing about the book of Isaiah. Isaiah covers every part of the Bible. Okay, go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 through 17.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall never look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the kingdom of the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the houses of his prisoners?
Okay, so this right here, of course, is talking about when Satan fell. Just to point out, when it says the size of the north, that's in Psalms chapter 48, verse 2, which is Mount Zion. It's the gate between heaven and earth. It's the highest point of the gate between heaven and earth, where Christ is at, and where he will be is Mount Zion. Satan claimed that he will sit there in Mount Zion, meaning he'll have you worshiping him instead of the Most High. Okay, so I'm showing you that. And then being that we seeing that the Most High is over everything in his judgment, in verse 15 it says, in verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? Meaning that we're going to look at Satan like he's nothing when all this happened. Like right now, he goes as a roaring lion, seeking who he chooses to devour, whatever, roaring lion. But in actuality, when the Most High get through with everything, and we see him get taken, we're gonna be looking and saying, "Is that him?" Like he's gonna be nothing to us, the righteous. No fear, nothing. He's gonna be nothing to us. You know, so that's why they asked that question: is that the man? That's him. Okay. Um. Let's see. Okay, I could just add on to verify, even though we know that this is Lucifer, this is Satan. But hold that, go to Luke chapter 10, verse 11 through 15.
book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 11. You said Luke chapter 10, right?
Hold on.
Verse 11,
Hold
15.
on. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me. Well, that's a precept, but hold that. We're not gonna go there. Go skip down, and go to 18.
The book of Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, behold, and he said unto them, I beheld Satan as a lightning fall from heaven.
Okay, and 19 and 20.
Verse 19. Oh, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Now withstanding in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven.
Oh, okay, so this can go along with when it says at the end when we look and we see him, he gonna be nothing to us. But Christ right here is telling you right now we have the power over him. This is what Christ is telling us now. Right now we have power over him. And but he said he warned us in verse 20. He said, notwithstanding, in this rejoice not that the spirit are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your name is written into heaven or in the book of life. So that's what we need to be focused on, is our name being written in the book of life and not be blotted out. And instead of focusing on what we can do to Satan, you know. So that's what he's telling us, because of course Satan is crafty, and then thinking we got the power to do certain things, that can puff us up. Give you one example. There's no such thing as nobody in the children of Israel, Paul and Peter, Christ, no one ever taught about doing an exorcism. They cast out spirits, but they don't do exorcism. Exorcism is another form of when you negotiate with the spirit for one to come out and another smaller one to come in to keep that person subdued, thinking that they've been healed. So that's another way of putting that. But that's why Christ said, rejoice not that you got power to subject these spirits, because if you think about it, we'll have power, but at the same time, we need to be focused on having our name written in the book of life. I can give you another example, is going back to Solomon. Solomon had the power to subdue and cause demons to follow his instructions to build the temple. But what happened to Solomon? Solomon, with the women, caused him to go astray. So I'm just saying, is the Most High is telling you, even though you're operating in your power through the Most High, but at the same time, focus on, and thank the Most High that your name is written into the Lamb's Book of Life. I don't know if this goes with this, but it also in Ezra, when Ezra was speaking on the judgment of the wicked and being tormented, he told the angel told him, focus not on. I'm paraphrasing. Focus not on the torment of the wicked, but how the righteous can be saved. That's in the book of Ezra, second Ezra. Focus on how the righteous can be saved. Don't focus on the torment of the wicked, but how the righteous can be saved. So, but yeah, I'm just giving you all this little bit right here on Isaiah 13 and 14. There's so much. I'm gonna just point these things out right now because of time. I may not keep it, do the whole the time I say I'll be doing, how long I do it. But I'm just pointing all these right here is from 15 the Moab's devastation, the judgment on them, and 16, 17 Damascus, 18 about Ethiopia, the doom of Egypt, and 19. All these right here is talking about the judgment to come on these nations, and Isaiah is warning these nations as they taking Israel down. Like, y'all gonna be judged for this though, and everything. But with that being said, being that was so detailed, just 13 almost alone, and then a little bit of 14 where we spoke on the falling of Satan, coming down here. That's all I'm gonna do for now. Is that because I think that's pretty good detailed lesson. End up speaking just of the doom, and this really like what's going on right now, like what we dealing with right now in the news and stuff. Like we coming up to this time period when the daughter of Babylon fixing to be destroyed, and that's why we got to keep our eyes on Iran. Like a lot of people don't know, Iran is that game changer. Whenever Israel, the country Israel or United States or whatever, if they deal with Iran and do something to Iran, that's the game changer. So, and it's gonna happen. And when it happens, we have to be ready to be like pilgrims in that day, because this place time is winding down. So I didn't mean for this lesson really to be about the destruction of America, but that's how Isaiah put it in 13. And that's what we went with 13. So technically, we spoke of the destruction of America by just default, because we were just reading Isaiah 13. But anybody got any questions or comments based off this lesson, which is Isaiah chapter 13, the doom of Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon really being destroyed?
I would just like to say, Brother Aaron, I really enjoyed the Bible Monday. It's really awesome and really, like you said, really deep. I'm like, oh my God. And to take it in like you said, Isaiah is really, really a deep chapter. Deep book. So I really enjoyed it, and I thank the Most High for your teaching. Thank you.
Praise the highest, the water, praise the highest. And like I said, this was just 13 and 14. I didn't even get further this time than we did last week. Last week we did get to 11, but this time, technically I didn't get but really 13 and then just a little bit of 14. But yeah, Isaiah is something serious. A lot of people don't realize how serious the book of Isaiah is, and how you can actually teach out of Isaiah if you didn't have no other book around. Isaiah cover everything in the Bible, and then you start using the precepts with it. It's a wrap. So like I said, Isaiah got 66 chapters, and we haven't even got close to being finished with Isaiah. So I don't know if it's the Most High's will. We might continue this if it's the Most High's will. If not, we'll do a new lesson next week. But right now we on Isaiah. So the Most High got me in Isaiah. So I'm gonna keep bringing Isaiah until He say go to another chapter, go to another book, or bring forth a new lesson. But yep. So technically, this lesson by default was really about the destruction of America, the extension of Rome, the daughter of Babylon, spiritual Sodom and Egypt. I mean, there's a lot of names for it. The little horn, but it's not gonna. You're not gonna see the word America, because America does not belong to itself. It belongs to the Roman Empire. The womb was healed through America, and then once when America be destroyed, and this is another lesson, that's when Rome would take over for a short time period. With everything would go back to Rome, and when they go back to Rome, that's who Christ is going to take down when He returns. So we almost there. Everything is lining up according to Scripture, and we right there at the end. We right here at the end. But really, if you think about it, I like to put this out here too. if the book of Isaiah, we just got to just really one chapter today, and last week we went to 11 and we got so much out of it. So could you really imagine how much more is in all the other books of the Bible? Just really, like, if you really examine them and break them down, how much meat is in every book. And you'll see why no one is able to destroy the Bible. Everybody that come out with a new religion, they always put it up against the Bible. You never hear nobody put it up against the Quran. You never hear nobody put it up against the Egyptian Book of the Dead. All these other type of books or scrolls, they always try to put it up against the Bible because this is where it's at right here. This is where the meat at. This is where everything that need to be said by the Most High is here. It's in the Bible. That's why they ain't never been destroyed yet. Many people have said that the book is false, but time and time again, it's proven to be factual to the point to where you still can't destroy it, regardless if you said it was false. So, like I said, we haven't even got finished with Isaiah, and imagine, the rest of Isaiah, but not only that, but the power that's within this whole book. So, don't take the Bible lightly. It's a lot. There's stuff I don't even know in it yet. So, Elder Ricard, I see him. He brings something new every time. I see him bring something out new. Who said? Somebody said something?
Yeah, his brother Joshua. I want to add something to that too. When he was speaking on the precepts and everything, when you go to Jeremiah 51 and 13, it also tells you that she dwells upon many waters, abundance, and treasures. Because they got embassies and military bases all over the world.
Right.
And it says our end is coming, the measure of our covetousness. But when you look up that covetousness in the strong concordance, it tells you profit, unjust gain acquired by violence.
There you go.
This country was still built on violence too. So it's just talking about how they took everything from us and got it through slavery and just overall, just the personality that was brought upon, by Babylon. So it's talking about her.
That's her. That's her. Hey, that's her. That is her.
That too. Think about Lady Liberty. You asked her to put this ginormous statue of Semiramis, which is, we all know is a Babylonian god. You identify yourself. Like they're trying, they don't care. They showing you who they are.
Right. They have actually, they really have not hidden themselves, because all they do is give something a different name or something like that, but it still be what the original thing came from. You still can identify it. So, like even with the name, like they say Jewish, wish mean it's not actually Jew, it's a convert, different little things they tell you, they tell you without telling you at the same time, because that's their lesser magic they have to use. Old daughter of Babylon. So the only thing I can say is our time coming where we shall be saved. We'll be led out of this place through Christ Yeshua. And some of us that don't be led out, we just pray our name be written in the Lamb's Book of Life. We make it, and then we still coming back. We still coming back. When Christ come on that day, we will be with him. So, but we win at the end. It even shows Satan was like, we looked at him like he wasn't nothing. We like, man, that's him. So, like I said, let's keep marching on and keep trying to walk this walk in Christ, Yeshua, the Holy One of Israel.